So a random idea just popped up in my head. It was Warframe concepts. Like I just had some random thoughts. Maybe other people have already thought of these, and these are already concepts somewhere online. But I was just sitting, I
Operator,
was
the
thinking.
system
So this
needs
is
you.
like
Will you
literally,
begin another
this
mission?
is literally like unscripted. So this is me speaking out of nowhere, just random shit. Because this is a random couple ideas I wanted to put on the internet. So the first frame, it all depends because some of these like very niche because Warframe no it leans more to like aerial multiple like aerial attacks or like buffing yourself or buffing teammates or something that provides you doing a lot of damage, right? So a lot of these frames are like just random ideas. The first one, which is weird, which I thought about, I don't know fucking why, was like a grappler frame, like if you play fighting games, you know what a grappler is, right? Mostly using grab techniques, right? And I know it sounds weird, right? Because the closest you could really get to a grappler is maybe like Grendel, right? Grendel really doesn't grapple enemies. He eats enemies, and there's like no other frame. Maybe Hildren, but she has like the look of a grappler. But a really cool idea would be a grappler frame. I don't know how it's gonna work. I was thinking for some reason like you was able to grab an enemy and just use them as a fucking weapon. I know it sounds weird because when you think of like the gameplay aspect, is how do you make that powerful, right? Because when you think of an ability, you have to think of it as like, well, how are we gonna work it into the game, make it feel nice to play and not make it feel weak? Because like if a how Warframe is, if like a Warframe generally has a weak kit. Best example will probably be like Caliban. Like you could build them to be good, but like very niche abilities. That's what I'm thinking, right? How would you work a grappler type frame into having good abilities? One like it's like I was thinking so it's four, right? Because your four is normally like your Warframe signature ability or like their like ultimate, right? Um, Basically his four will probably be able to like just like like literally just launch enemies into the air and like just like and slam them down like a fucking meteor, bro. I don't know how you work that into like animations and shit like that. It was just a cool thing that we don't have a frame like that incorporates grabs and just physical attacks basically because that's what a grappler is, right? Because like you can make it into a tank, right? I mean Korvax looks like a fucking grappler, right? Homie's built, right? It's also the wrong coloring for him too, right? Didn't nope, no, it's not. Okay. My next Warframe idea was is more like with lore because a lot of frames have a lot of good lore. Now, one thing I really love, like the core, a lot of shit. So it's is rage, right? Any type of rage, silent rage, like fucking chaotic rage, like Bex Valkyrie, Haro, Kalervo as well. I know Kalervo has fucking he's like a rage. He's vengeful actually, but that's still in the same sense as rage. There's a lot of frames that take that concepts, but I would like a brooding, silent type of rage where you could tell like in the animations you see how the idol animations. I guess the best one I think Mag has one too, like where she like it was more like I don't know if you think of Mag's one of her idol animations. Actually, I could pull her up right now. Um, one of her animations, she's yeah this one right. So let me get out the let me
Excellent
get.
armaments, operator.
I don't know
Please
if you can
return
really
covered in blood.
keep it.
Safe and sound.
All right, so let me stop moving. So basically, you're gonna see you're gonna see what I mean, where like something that indicates that the Warframe has like silent rage. Mag just looks like she has it, but it's not like that, right? It looks like she's just like powering up her power or whatever, right? But basically, the subtle, like, just like minor animations that you could tell, right? Because Mag, she's a violent fucking like violent rage. You could tell. Like I don't have Valk right now. But I wish I could. I wish, but I could look at her animations. Yeah, I don't have Valk right now, but basically her like her idle animations, you can see that she has rage, right? But her rage is more like violent rage, right? I want a Warframe that this Warframe will be a bit more slower, but his attacks would be utterly brutal, basically. Like in his ability animations, it would be like it would be like sense or rage in your abilities, but not like Valkyrie where she unleashes everything. It's basically like uh what's it called? Not hidden rage. That sounds weird. I don't know what's it called. I would just call it hidden rage, right? You like he like is so angry, but he keeps it on inside, and you could tell from those abilities. And his fourth could be honestly like Valkyrie. We don't have a word frame that literally just lets out her anger or lets out his anger like a violent wrath, right? That's what I would like about this frame, right? Because Valkyrie, her abilities like what two of her abilities I think she has three abilities, right? That indicate she has like fucking really rage, or maybe I'm just tripping, and maybe the D team already incorporate all her abilities. That if I could, if I could, so let me pull her up because if she does, she'd be a really good example of what I'm looking for. So her first ability, yeah, that's bullshit. It really doesn't indicate that she has any type of rage. Her second one, yeah, definitely. Yeah, okay, so yeah, basically like this, but more subtle. More subtle, like you could know. This was like outlandish, yeah, this she's the rage frame, so three of her abilities indicate that she's fucking pissed, like a war cry and a fucking paralysis where I don't know what she does. I don't know if that's another yell. And then this one really indicates she fucking literally just she just like doesn't give a shit. She goes like Kratos type shit, right? This is like young Kratos rage right here, right? Where she just fucking beats the shit out of enemies with claws and shit. That's like young Kratos. Basically, what we'll be looking for is like older Kratos, right? Like 2018 Ragnarok. That sounds so weird, but that's like the best example I could tell from like hidden rage. Kratos' rage is not really hidden, but he like most of he's bottled up. The only time he is really hidden is during the story or when you use Spartan rage, and that's what I'm talking. That's what I'm saying. And in this gameplay, it would feel like you could feel like he has rage, but it's not violent, like overly violent. Kratos is violent in the newer games, 2018 and Ragnarok, but then not like super rage until he enters Spartan Rage, right? That's what I want. That's what I want for a frame to have, where his like he has subtle brutality, but like and then like his fourth ability either being an exalted or something that drains or just something, maybe a buff, or maybe like when he uses his fourth abilities, his other abilities will transfer into like other rage abilities, like him letting his rage out. So like his I don't know what his first would be. Normally, a lot of frames versus ability is a throwaway. Not all of them. Some of them actually have decent, really first abilities that could be very viable. I can't really think of one right now for this one. It could probably be like no, because I don't want to make his transformation into both something subtle like a first. Because like there'll be disadvantages and advantages, right? So his like first stage, which is a subtle rage, right? I feel like he will be more of a like support type thing. Not support, but something. What's a good example of a frame? I can't really use Equinox because yeah, Equinox has day and night form, but it's like it doesn't. It's like it's not like a subtle change of like your character's personality. What's a good frame with multiple abilities that can like cycle back and forth? There's not really a lot that I could think of. That's a like, very niche type of thing for a word frame to have more than four abilities. But this is what I want. When you're into rage form, of course you're not gonna have a first because having eight abilities kind of sounds like how the fuck do you balance eight abilities? But basically there would be like a silent rage form where he has like all four of his abilities. I don't know what they would be, but like I say, I'm trying to indicate like something either like he's like passively. I'm trying to think of cool abilities right now. because I'm thinking of a lot of ideas, and like I'm trying to make them all stick. Um, let me think. Let me think. Let me think. I think his, I think his silent form would be because I don't want him to be like a pure attack frame for his first phase. That's his second phase when he lets everything out and he lets the true brutality out, and that's like his damage phase. I feel like his first phase will be like a buffer stage with good DPS, maybe more crowd control, because like you can't really make abilities single target because in this game that's not viable. If your build relies on single targets, then it kind of sucks. Unless you're using other abilities that's able to transfer damage to other enemies, then yes, like Colorvo. Colorvo's not a single target dude with his abilities. He's supposed to make melee weapons because melee weapons are normally single target unless you know, not all of them. Some of them do have right array aerial attack, but like katanas, I feel like katanas attack in like a frontal cone, so anything that's in front of you will attack. But it's still like technically single target, right? Because like what happens if enemies like 20 meters away or not far enough, you know, not like pretty like just far enough that your melee attack won't reach, right? That's why Colorvo is really good for making melee weapons, which are normally single target, or just for less fewer enemies. Fewer enemies. And his ability, one of his abilities is he's able to like transfer that damage to other things. I don't know if I want that like basically another Colorvo, basically, um, because like I said, I want this rage frame, this passive rage frame to have like it needs to be subtle. So I don't know if it'll be buffer where he's buffing himself to do more damage, and he's like a heavy hitter, like a super heavy hitter, but he has to build for that. And then the second his second tree, like his fourth ability, he lets it all out. He's gonna do an animation. It's not gonna be like Equinox where she just swats back and forth, right? I want it to be something special. So like he transfers from his fourth ability. He does like I don't want to. I say a battle cry. I want this character to be male, by the way, because we already have a female rage frame, so we need a male one. Like I said, like we have a lot of rage frames in this game, right? Caloro, Horo. I don't know who else. I have Varuna maybe. Varuna, I think. Equinox. No, not Equinox. My fault. The Goth is more not passive. Vengeful. Like I said, we like rage and vengeful are very common in Warframe ideas or in their lore, anyways. Like Rhino has like a Rhino. You could consider. I don't know Rhino's lore. Sevagoth is also a good example, but that's vengeful, I think. Nidus. Like I said, we have a lot of vengeful frames, but this I want this one to be like more unique. Basically, I don't know. Like, there's either two ideas. His fourth ability makes him able to transform. Right, he gets a cool ass animation of him doing it, and he gets like his other three abilities that all indicate his rage. The shit that does massive aerial damage, or maybe this shit that massively boosts his damage and change of animation too. Like his idle animation would change into like a more fucking rageful form, right? I want both forms to be viable though. That's the main thing because, like, I hate frames that rely on one ability. I don't like them. It gets boring. And I know with the newer ones, especially Korvax, people said it replaces Cornwall, this one, but I like it. I like it. Sure, it could be better. You could just something you could helmet onto this. The helmet replace that's way better for gathering enemies. But I like it because every ability has meaning, right? Right? It shows what he could do, and every like they all synergy. Like you use this to spread your radiation. Use this. It goes for how much radiation damage. I'm pretty sure it's just radiation damage you do, or just damage yourself. But this basically negates all things. It kind of it syncs. So you use this, then you use your pillar, and then you know this. But I like it that because normally because the function for this is that you charge it, right? You don't you place it down. You have the ability to charge it for it to do more ticks, right? And this one, people this also does it, right? But I really like using number two to charge up his pillar. That's what I mean. Where his ability, like he's not a singular ability frame. I use everything on him. Same thing with not Caliban, Colorvo. fucking Kalervo, all his abilities are fucking like all you use them all. You're not using just one ability on Kalervo, right? I hate frames with like single abilities. Most of them, because Excalibur, no, see, not even Excalibur, where you mostly use his four. You're still using like Radio Javelin and Radio Blind, and even his first ability, bro. Like Excalibur is another good example of that. Um, maybe go through this because I'm trying to paint the idea of where I want this silent dude to be. I want him to be uh multiple like not multiple abilities, right? I want every ability he has to be good, not super good, because not every ability is gonna be fire, right? Go back to random because I'm gonna yep. Just think about other frames that are really synergizes with their all their abilities. Lavos is a really good one. Limbo is a pretty good one. Nidus is an extreme good one. Like extremely fucking good. Savagov is another good one. Uses other abilities to build up his shadow. Baruch is pretty decent one. Like there's a decent amount of frames, but a lot of the time people build them to just use one singular ability in their kit, and I hate that, dude. I really do hate that. Um, I want this frame for both his rage forms. Like I said, it's either it's ability he could transform into, or like Baruch. Baruch is a very good example of what I'm trying to go for. But Baruch is like Baruch is like the most perfect example of what I want, like what I really want. So Baruch has a really good mechanic, bro. I really fucking love this dude. Kadem. So basically, he's a monk, right? And you know how monks are, peaceful people. You know, violence is not in their nature, right? Um, basically, his like for well, fuck, maybe yeah, because god damn it, I wish I could see his original build. Give me a sec. If I want to do that, give me a sec. Because I have a fucking helmet on this. This is gonna be unedited, by the way. This is just a random ass video. So, like I said, I want to paint because this is like my favorite idea I had. This is why I wanted to make this video. Uh, I'm just there it is. Okay, so his first couple abilities, like these three, are all indicating that he's passive, right? Maybe his well, his actual passive. Okay, maybe not. But this one elude, he evades damage. He really doesn't he evades damage, right? All damage phases him. His second one, he puts enemies to sleep. That's 100% passive. And then this other hands, this one just disables enemies' guns, and it also buffs you and your enemies with damage reduction. So passive. But then use all of these abilities, right? And you're just getting pissed, right? This one, the more enemies shoot, like you're getting pissed. This one, you put enemies to sleep. I don't know why this breaks your what's it called? Oh, give me a sec. I don't remember, but I don't know why it makes you pissed. But this one, it just I don't know. I don't know how. That's what I'm talking about. With the new one, I wanted to build up to it because I want what Baruch. Basically, I want to swap it to what Baruch has. Maybe, yeah, definitely. Where you build up your anger. His is not anger, it's restraint. There we go. His restraint. So him holding him back. Baruch just holds back. Basically, Baruch is passive until he builds up to for for his resilience or his restraint. There we go. His restraint. His like of him holding himself back and not holding back anymore. And he's like, boom. He starts beating your ass. Right. One of the best exalted weapons in this game. Literally, and just fucking start pummeling your enemies, dude. Right. I love this idea. But I do want to take that you building up to like letting go. Definitely, dude. So it'd be like Sevagov. Sevagov is more fucking emo than this. Like him breaking resilience. But Sevagov is another good idea where he uses his abilities to build to his four. That's way more better idea. That's way a better idea. Way more better idea than than having like eight fucking abilities or seven abilities, six abilities. Having extra abilities because then that gets kind of very annoying to build for because you have all these abilities and it's really hard to balance all those abilities on one frame. So basically this. Basically this. He builds up to it, and he releases his anger. I don't know if he starts pummeling it like as another exalted weapon, or maybe I could go with the old idea, and these abilities get changed into more violent. Like they'll be basically the same concept, like the same passive rage thing, but like when you use this, right? These things change to be way more fucking aggressive. So say if like I don't know what's a good idea because just having rage because some of these have like some type of power, right? So maybe telekinesis or you controlling gravity, maybe something that would like I don't know. It needs to be something. Definitely silent rage in his lore and how his abilities work with each other. Uh, but I feel like he'd be able to like lift up enemies and like slam them together. Mag is very close. Mag is really a good idea at how she does that. Basically like that. And like when he uses, yeah, they just change basically. So say if something was to basically lift enemies and throw them, like just lift enemies and throw them, like simple AOE or not AOE. What's it called? Uh, my brain is dying. So basically, ability that throws him, and then when he activates this, it turns into ability that's able to fucking slam enemies together. So basically, if you're like survival or defense, where a lot of enemies spawn, or even extermination, basically, the throw ability might sound weak, but if you're in tile sets or areas with a lot of walls, if you throw an enemy to a wall, they'll take damage. It'll be high damage because it sounds weak, but it like you can make it strong. You could definitely make it strong. Definitely not too powerful because when you use this, you want that variant to be way more powerful than the base one. So nothing too crazy. Just good CC. That's what they call it. Good CC that does decent damage, right? It's not gonna be the best CC because you're throwing enemies against walls. You're not armor stripping them or doing anything, but it could definitely work. And then like his when he builds up to his like true rage, like his true rage, he will he will slam enemies together. Right? He would just slam enemy. It would be like in his description, slam enemies together more violently, and that's the ability that's able to kill. And that could like kill multiple enemies, right? Because he could lift up like a lot of enemies and then slam them. That's his first ability. I wanted to make it. Let's make that history because that making that his first is gonna be crazy, right? But let's make that his third ability, right? His third ability. Because all his abilities can't all be powerful, right? But he should have a really good kit that builds with each other, basically. Because I want one of his abilities to be a self buff for him. That could be his second or his first. Or his first ability could be something different that that really doesn't matter. Because then all you have because well, we'll see. I'll get to that. His second ability definitely a buff. But his third, like I said, when he fully builds up to his rage, he could um he could definitely slam enemies together, and that you could if you think of the possibilities, you could kill so many enemies because it's lifting multiple enemies together. There's gonna be a limit, right? There's gonna definitely be a limit because you lift up all the enemies and kill them all. There might be an enemy limit depending of how you wanna like make sure it's not too cracked. It could be like a 30 enemy limit, 45, 50. And if you think it's not not too powerful to do that, um, yeah, sure, he can lift up anything that's in his cone of vision, right? It won't go through walls. Definitely won't go through walls. Anything that's behind you, that kind of sucks though, because there's nothing behind you. Fuck it, it just can't go through walls, which kind of sucks, but it can't go through walls. But hey, he'd be really good for in open areas and shit, or just a lot of enemies in your vicinity around you, anyways. But definitely it will have no enemy cap if it can't go through walls. But And plus range as well. There's range in this game, so you have to build it for range. So yeah, definitely, definitely, that's a really good idea. Mag already kind of does something like that. And I don't know who does, but it sounds way more cooler because you have a weaker variant where you throw enemies to the wall, but it still does decent damage. And he has the second variant where it's the same ability. It's just him using enemies for and enemies to slam into each other to kill to kill them. Sounds way cooler. Sounds way fucking cooler. Now his second ability. His second ability, I want to be a self buff. Basically, in his first form, it could be like what damage reduction. It could just be simple damage reduction where he's how do you indicate that as silent rage though? Oh, we can make this like something like a stance, right? Where he like where he like gets it not changes it into a stance, but when you use it, you're more like leaning into defensive because you're not as angry. So so I just don't want it to be straight up defense, right? I could be like something like because that's the okay. So like the more damage he takes, okay. Let's say like it's gonna be a cap, right? It's gonna be capped so it doesn't get like overkilled. It's probably gonna be not as good as other self buffs that just increase damage and have set. But this could be something where the more damage he takes, the higher his power strength. And if you think about it, you take a lot of damage in this game, like like a lot of damage in this game. So that could be really something really fucking good for him to have. Like the more damage he takes, the more damage he does. Right? Right? This basically. I'm gonna try to balance this because this is why I'm not a game developer because balancing random shit is random shit that doesn't yeah it's just hard to fucking try to manage that. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. So like I said, it could be it's a self buff. Now, it's like a defensive stance where enemy attack. Okay, yeah, like enemy attacks just don't phase you as much, right? They just don't phase you, right? You just take less damage. The elements don't really affect you because you don't care about it, right? It's ticking you off a bit though, right? So basically, this is definitely the ability while having active as an active ability because basically because like I said, all his other abilities built to this. This is gonna have a decent charge up time though, because I don't want you to be able to get this like at the beginning of the mission. Like how Baruch, you could technically if you're in like Steel Path, Steel Path, because this wouldn't matter. Like this is like the same problem this might have with this rage form, right? Is that in Steel Path it will be broken because you could just instantly activate it. So what's the point of having like shit that builds up to it if you just technically have it at the beginning anyways? So like I said, I wanted to have like a pretty decent like build up, right? I want him to. I know it sounds boring, it sounds slow, and he might be trash. That's what I'm saying. His other abilities should be decent for him to be able to like just be good. That's why Baruch is like very boring in the early game and very fun in the late game because you're using all his abilities to build up to it, and then boom, you hit G4, and you're still using your abilities to maintain it, to maintain your this. So so like I don't know, it's so weird. It's so weird. It's a cool concept, right? His third ability is really fucking cool though. But it's the thing about his second ability, dude. Right? That's like so hard to have a self buff. And it's so weird. Like this video might be an hour. This is probably the only frame I'm gonna talk about for the rest of this video. So it's hard. This is what I think DE goes through when they're looking through the forums and have people suggesting frames. This is basically what they had to go through. It was like they probably don't think as much as I do because they read it and it's like oh crazy idea when we'll ever be able to balance that. They could definitely take the character concept because they already have a shit ton of characters with that. Um, second ability, self defense, self buff. The buff would give him, man, is either damage reduction. Let's just go damage reduction, right? This is okay. Let's just go damage reduction. Basic damage reduction. And maybe be like for every 10 enemies that hit you, you gain damage. Still probably be broken, but it could be something like that. It doesn't have to be the more damage you take, but just something that ties in with the defense buff, right? Definitely something because you just don't want a defense buff, and that's all it does. But definitely a drain. Definitely a drain. The rage form would just give you a fucking a damage boost, but it's a damage boost that gets stronger the more enemies you kill, and it's capped. I know shit having being capped, but like you doing infinite damage because the more enemies you're killing, yeah. For something like defense, yeah, like it has a meter and it start going down because you're not killing enemies anymore, so you have to rebuild it. Um, but no, they could definitely do that. It's just this simple damage boost, and then you have all three of the perks of the third ability. So damage reduction, and the more damage you do, the more damage you take. I feel like the damage reduction will go down though, because like I said, I want these to be viable. So the moment you get hit rage form and do this, this is for you to do more damage and tie in with number three, where it's slamming enemies together, so you could get the maximum damage that this could possibly get. So maybe you will lose the damage reduction because you're no longer focusing on just maintaining your posture, maintaining that, just yeah, maintaining that posture basically, and reducing the damage you take, and the more damage you're taking, that signifies that you're getting pissed. That signifies that you're getting pissed, right? And that's caps, and that builds up to your four, right? Like I said, everything. His third will give you little, right? Because you're throwing enemies to the wall. You're just pushing enemies back, like, get the fuck away from me. That builds it by a little. His second is where you really, really build this up, though. Definitely where you build up that wrath. So definitely, uh, so what's it? What's the word? I'm high right now, so um, self defense. God damn it, I just had it. Damage reduction. There we go. Damage reduction, and basically the more damage you take, um, the more damage you do, and it's capped, and boom, perfect. And then you shift to his four, bam, you lose the self defense, you lose the damage reduction, and you just go full damage, bro. And be like, the more enemies you kill, the more enemies you kill, you do more damage. You can build that for duration, so it can last as long. Because this is not going to be a channel ability, because I just realized, yeah, these like other variants are way stronger, and yeah, you want to balance that. So I want these abilities to be pretty decent to building up to this. He might be, like I said, I want him to be a semi slow frame. I know it kind of sucks, but come on, it sounds fun, right? Because I want that type of character where like it takes a bit to get to his that fourth ability. It takes a bit, right? I know it sounds boring, but it just sounds fucking awesome, and it feels really good when you reach that state, right? But definitely, that's a really cool idea. That's a really cool idea, and you could definitely balance that to not be as crazily strong, not overly powerful. You could definitely put some things in there, but basically, you will lose the damage reduction, dude, and that. So now you might become a squishy depending on how you mod them. Uh, but you do so much damage, and this is an AOE. So you could kill a lot of enemies before they fucking do damage to you, right? They do damage to you. But like I said, the more like I said, once you build to this, it's gonna last a bit. Because I don't want you to build to it and then like, oops, it fucking has a little duration and it's gonna go boof. Yeah, adding more duration is gonna add to the duration of this, right? Oh, not this. His fourth ability. His fourth ability. So he has a meter. That meter builds up from using his other abilities. And basically, once you build up to it, it's like a timer. So we could put like maybe a minute timer, and with duration, you could possibly get that to 2 minutes and 30 seconds, or maybe I don't want to be 5 minutes because 5 minutes it sounds like oops, 5 minutes and you got to build up to it again. I want it to be relatively fast, but not too fast, right? So maybe first is like you could build up to it because I want you to use these abilities for a good time. So say it takes like this is basically like a massive cooldown that you build, and then like it goes back down and you build up for it again. So I'm trying to think of a good time that doesn't sound utterly terrible. So okay, the wheel go. It takes 3 minutes to build up to your abilities, and like I said, these abilities are really good. I haven't explained the first one yet because that one is gonna be more of a toughie, but we'll get there. But these are two abilities. They're already fun. Not this one though. Like I said, simple damage reduction, and you do more damage. You could honestly just build for that, and if you just want that, and cap out the damage, and then boom, you do like a good amount of damage, right? It's a really good DR. I don't want it to be too overly cracked because he needs to be cracked because other frames could do what he does better, like damage reduction. But I want it to be honestly viable for the DR alone. Um, but definitely for the damage as well. Definitely for the damage it could possibly give you. Uh, so basically, and then his like the second variant, where you trade off that defense and shit, blah 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 blah. So basically, fourth ability timer. A good time will possibly be 2-3 minutes to build up to it, and then 2 to 3 minutes of the fourth form if you use the other abilities, and then like he does an animation of him going back to being passively or silent angry, and him building up, and you can see like not by subtle animations of him getting angry, but like an aura maybe, like a subtle aura that you can see on the character, like you're building up that rage, and the aura gets stronger, and then boom, you hit the fourth, you release all that fucking rage you held up, and boom, like you're like in a new stance. Not new gun animations or anything, just like your character's stance is different. Boom, boom, and then like his abilities get like has a more aggressive animation where where he was to throw his enemies to the wall, like a push, like up two hands with his two hands, and he pushes the enemies like a push animation, and then like he hits that four with all that rage, he releases the rage, and now he's fucking pissed. He fucking grabs the enemies and he slams his hands together like very violently, and that signifies the rage. And this one, he'll like I said, he'll probably get an aura, signifying or like a little body glow of him, or maybe like a posture or something that changes his animation a little, so you could tell that he's passively taking damage. Like he's like, I'm gonna ignore you guys until doing more damage because you're getting more and more pissed, right? Or more ticked off, whatever you want to call it, and that's why this will build this really quickly or really good. Like build the time. I don't know. I might just leave it like just. I don't know if you like build it. The more you use your abilities, or the more damage you take. I just might do that differently, where you just all of these is passively gain up to it, because you want to build up to it, and then boom, 3 minutes of rage. That 3 minutes is up, and then build it. I'm pretty sure you could build it up quickly, but then you only have 3 minutes. But like I said, like boom, 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 boom. It might take a bit. It might take a bit for you to boom, 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 boom. And then the more enemies there are, once you get to like this, I'm trying to do a good of a circle right now. Once you hit this part right here, because there's a lot of enemies, and then boom, you start building it quickly. Bam, 3 minutes, and then you go back to that low phase. It'll be like a little quick 1 minute cooldown because now you're in passive. Now you're in passive form, and once that cooldown is done, you're not. Once that passive is done, you won't lose your silent abilities, your silent anger abilities, but they won't build up to your four. Wait for that one cooldown, and then you build it again. Not even 1 minute. Let's make it 20 seconds, right? 20 seconds, so you don't instantly just, you know what I mean? So 20 seconds might be like a little annoying. You can make it 10, 15, just a little time, right? Because like I said, I want you to use the other abilities for fun. Definitely throwing enemies and then using this to, for definitely in this first ability. We'll see, we'll see. Because we'll circle back to this conversation when we go back to one, but I'm not done. Um, so definitely, I don't know how you want to do that timer. I don't know, like if you use your abilities, you build it quick, but then you'll want to be in these abilities all too long. Like I said, I want you to be able to choose if you want to have like his passive angry form, or build it for his angry form, where you use these and you build it for it, because I want both sets of these, like throwing enemies to the against the walls. Okay, yeah, definitely. Because yeah, this will be like maybe a armor strip ability where you throw enemies against the wall and they'll lose fucking their armor, and then you'll once you do this, you'll lose that armor strip. Which, when now that I think about it, it kind of sucks. But like I said, this will have the rage one will have a lot of damage, coupled with this for the more enemies you kill. Um, yeah, definitely, dude, definitely, definitely. You could take some of these ideas and mesh them into something different that sounds way more cohesive and makes actual sense. Um, but definitely his these two abilities will be really good, and this one will be extremely fun. Um, and this fourth would be a cool idea, right? Like I said, once he gets to that fourth one, he fucking he explodes with rage. Not super violent rage, but bent up rage, right? That, like, say like you've been holding up rage for years, all the shit you've gone through, and boom, 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 rage, and you just lash out like that, like that. Definitely cool animation he does, and definitely an aura before that stage that kind of gets like that you see maybe has like a little twitch, like his animations does like a little twitch sometimes when you're like idling, and then you see like a little vague aura that just gets a little brighter, and then bam, you know what I mean. um Now the first ability, I don't want to make it too crazy, but I wanted to build to this. Now if this is a self buff, and this is your armor strip or pure damage. Because like I said, if you could just use this for the armor strip, or you could build to the four and have the high damage and the high kill count, like kill wiping enemies. The first one might be really good for, I don't know, we'll see, because it depends. Because on higher levels, if you really don't have a armor strip, because you can always some helmet something, which I hate you could do, but it kind of sucks. You could helmet this first if you don't like it, or maybe you don't want the high damage like ability here. Then just have the fucking buff where you just more damage you do, self buff, and have a armor strip, or have two armor strips or something like that. I don't know. It's weird. Like I said, it's a weird idea. But definitely either armor strip or high pure damage. It's high pure damage, which basically normally, if something could kill enemies right away, and then another ability just armor strips abilities, and then you use like a weapon or another ability to kill your enemies. Typically, that's longer. That's way longer. That's way longer over something that instantly kills your enemies in one button, right? And I just don't know how you typically balance that to be fun. Like, how do you do that to be like fun, or just quickness, or like quality of life? How do you make something that has to build up to overall mass aerial damage, something that does it instantly? It's weird. Like I said, but a lot of frames have that anyways, where having, like, if you have both, because normally the typical norm of warframes normally have one ability for armor stripping, and then another that does high damage. Because having both would be good. Having one that does damage is really good for the early game, but when you get to steel path, you're like, boom. Basically, I want this frame not to be very helmet reliant. Basically, so maybe its first ability before you transform to your four, because like I said, it's a transformation ability. You armor strip enemies. Like, this one doesn't have any. This one doesn't have any line of sight, like, at all. Like it could go through walls, and you need range, but the armor strips enemies. And then no, because this one is a fuck. See, now I'm tripping now because this one is the ability where you throw enemies against wall for armor strip. Yeah, armor strip is such a really hard concept to get into for frames, right? For me, because you need another ability with high damage. So maybe you could swap back and forth. But swapping back and forth would be too powerful armor strip enemies, and then high damage, okay. It's hard. See, now I'm self-doubting this idea because this sounds cool, right? And then you transform, and then the more damage you do, it just swap is the more damage you take. The more damage or kills you get, the higher damage, and then the damage one has a higher cap to make it more worthwhile than this, right? Um, and then, hmm, this sounds like a cool idea. Able to throw enemies against walls to possibly armor strip them, and his other variant to do high overall damage, right? Just high overall damage where he just kills all the enemies rather than armor stripping enemies. But like I said, how would you balance? Like, how would you mod that? Like, because you either mod for crowd control or you mod for damage. Then, but what would be the point for doing that? Where overall damage? Like I said, it'd be really good for the early game, and when you get to steel path, you just build for one of the abilities. And like I said, I don't want that. I want both of them to be viable for people to go back and forth to. So there needs to be a debuff for both of them to have. There needs to be some sort of drawback that's like detrimental for it that the other one has. Hmm. His third ability is way harder than I thought. His second ability is decent. Like I said, high defense. The high defense, and the more damage you take, the more damage you do. Capped lower, of course. So it's not like a big damage boost, but it's noticeable. But his rage form variant, which only lasts like 3 minutes, and then is on cooldown for a bit before you could build up to it again, which takes a bit to build up to. And then you get the because like I said, really good. So this one gives you defense, feels good. The more damage you're taking, it's capped. Boom. You'll notice the damage. Let it out. The more damage you do, more kills you get. The more damage you do. See, I'm repeating myself. Let me repeat that because, like I said, I'm high. I apologize. But the more damage you take, right? Boom, boom. You guys already explained. I was explaining attack, or or power boost, whatever. Um, God damn it, my brain right now. Okay, so the more damage you do, or the more kills you get, will build your own damage. Will build your own damage, and basically the cap for the damage you do will be way higher than the one for you taking damage. Where the one taking damage is like subtle. Your rage will go boom. Now that in itself could be a problem because boom, high damage, and then all of a sudden you're doing less damage now. So maybe raise the bar to be half, where you could still possibly one shot, one shot fodder enemies, just squishy enemies, and then boom, killing Eximus faster. But it was like really weird. But like I said, this is active. This is active. Like once you activate, because like when you reach it, it won't automatically activate. You'll click it when the time is right, where you feel like yeah, boom, and then when a new wave starts, you could be like boom, because like I said, 3 minutes. But if you reset it, but if you stop it right, if you restart it, you just reset, boom. It'd be like an active ability, but also a time ability, right? Because boom, a whole wave, boom, wait for the timer to just build up to again. But like, I don't know, it's weird. It's weird. These just mesh ideas. This is just mesh ideas. Try to go into like a simple, silent rage warframe. It's crazy, dude. Like, how how do you do it? I respect D, dude, because like there's a lot of cool warframe ideas and like how like this is like how did they come up with the abilities to all match? Zalko was community created. They had to take that. They had to take that man and have his abilities make sense and all tie in and not be overly dramatic and overly powerful. So maybe I would like to see the concept and maybe his third ability, but not that rage form might be completely scrapped and he'll just swap for everything would just be swapped for just one thing in the kit basically. Um, and basically it'd be the wall throw or the wall throw that's super violent or the wall not the wall or like the forcing of enemies to collide to do damage, right? It'd be either one, not both. If this was actually being developed by an actual developer that wants it to be balanced and not have to think about all the fucking issues that go into having multiple abilities. So basically just one. So maybe it's either his rage form that this overall boosts, or maybe like I said, it might be scrapped. Rage form might just be scrapped. Boom, gone. Replaced with something else. Third ability is either the wall throw that does your typical armor strip. That has the problem of not no enemies being near walls, or it's just like you just throw enemies in his armor strips, basically. You could just do that too, but yeah, it'd just be kind of whack. Just throwing enemies in and boom, armor strip. How did they lose their armor? Throwing them against a wall makes more sense, but like I said, if you're not in a map with a lot of walls or tight corridors, yeah, yeah. So yeah. So the other one would be just pure overall damage, where like you slam enemies together to kill them, but that doesn't armor strip them. That this does have very massive damage to them. You run the problem for Exodus enemies because they don't get affected by your abilities or any CC or crowd control. But that's what CC means, crowd control. My bad, Lord Jesus. Crowd control. So it's a good ability for killing. Ooh, cramp, 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 cramp. I just got a cramp, Lord Jesus. Out of nowhere, too. Whew, give me a sec, give me a sec. Okay, cramp is gone. Nose down, nose down. Damn. I just lost the topic now. That's so. God damn it. Fucking the universe is telling me to shut the fuck up. No, I want to finish this conversation because it's honestly interesting. To me, anyways. I might make fun of on the internet, but that's gonna be hilarious to read, bro. I'm gonna show it to my homies. um, but his third ability, it's like I said, throw against enemies against wall, or just use the violent force of air or some shit to to armor strip them, right? Or slam enemies together to overall just fucking massacre all of them, right? It's either one of those. It can't be both because then why why would you pick either one if one is better than the other? So it has to be one of them. His third ability, same shit. It's either more like I said, both of them is gonna be like why would you take one over the other? The defense one might be overall better for just you passively gaining more damage while taking as little damage, or doing as much damage and gaining way more damage doing so. Like which one in your eyes would be better? In my eyes, it would be this one. This one can be kind of crack if in the right scenarios, or maybe all of the scenarios. It's kind of weird to think about. So like you have to choose one or the other because having all four nets or these two in particular, having these two in particular would be, like I said, his fourth ability. Since we're removing, since we want to remove the pain, the fucking headache that is which one is better over if you're just swapping back and forth, right? So you just choose one or the other. I'm running out of time. I'm running out of recorder for no, no, no. Okay. So I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna let you guys continue this conversation in the comments, bro. Because the first ability, like this whole conversation broke down the moment this whole shit started like not making sense to me, basically. So I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna just upload it, the straight raw footage. I'm gonna laugh at this shit in the morning.